What's up, you guys? Chet-Guthrie, the Dream Poet here, coming to you all from St. Augustine, Florida. And today, you guys, this is a very, very special vlog. It is that time of year again. It is time for haunt season. Yes, it's the fall season. It is haunt season. The ghosts, the ghouls, the spooky season. It's time for that time of the year. Anyway, I came down here to Florida to do a little bit of work on my boat. My family are somewhere on St. George Street. But real quick, I wanted to tell you all about the most haunted cemetery in the entirety of St. Augustine. And that is the Huguenot Cemetery. Now, the origins of this cemetery are very dark. It all started in 1821 when a ship was out in the harbor in St. Augustine, just across the way, right over there. And anyway, this ship was a cargo ship. It had many goods, it had sailors on it, it had what this village needed. You see, unlike today, in today's world where all you would have to do is go to a grocery store or Walmart or Target to get your goods and your food, a very young St. Augustine, Florida, especially owned by America at the time, they did not have such goods and amenities. No, they got everything from those boats. However, something very strange was happening. That ship was out there in St. Augustine's harbor for a good month. It wasn't coming in. Nobody was getting on a dinghy to come in to St. Augustine. No, it was quiet and dead. So eventually a small dinghy of 4 men was sent out to this vessel from St. Augustine. And when they got to this boat, they found that everyone aboard except one person was dead. All these people that were aboard this ship, they had a very, very strange ailment about all their corpses. They had this very thick green pus pulsating from their eyes. Their skin was a blotchy yellow. Many of these men did not know what this was. But the man that was still alive that was aboard that vessel, they brought him out onto the mainland. This was the beginning of the yellow fever epidemic of 1821 here in the city of St. Augustine, and what led to the origin and the creation of the Huguenot Cemetery. At first, you had a few people dying here and there, not so much. But then about 2 people a day turned into about 4. And next thing they knew, they had about 9 people dying a day. Now, you wouldn't think that to be bad in today's world, but back then, the population here in St. Augustine was only a couple of thousand people. Eventually, if they saw that you were coughing, or that you had a slight cough, or you were walking slowly, they would kill you immediately. Or they would burn your house. Whatever this weird, mysterious disease that you had, or people had. Back then, people didn't know what it was, so they would burn them. And here, they needed a place to bury non-Protestant or non-Catholic bodies. Beyond this gate right here, this was all St. Augustine. Everything out of it was a present day a road. This was all a various mass territory controlled by Indians, the French, mostly the Spaniards. But anyhow, anyway, Catholic St. Augustine needed a place to bury their dead, their Protestant dead. So permission from the US government, they used a plot of land, and this would become the Huguenot Cemetery. Now, some claim that there is as many as 500 bodies buried within these walls. Now, there's only about 28 headstones, which makes you wonder. Well, back then, they would have mass graves in this spot. Sometimes they would have as many as 200 people to one grave in this spot. Now, this is where a certain invention comes in. An invention from the days of the Victorian era. The dead ringer. It was an invention here in Britain, and what would happen is they would take the little bell out there in the Huguenot cemetery and other cemeteries in this area, and they would hang it there. If that little bell went ding, 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 the grave digger would dig them up. However, that was only if you were lucky enough to be buried near the surface. There was one instance in this very cemetery that someone was dug up to be exhumed. But when they dug up the casket and opened it, they found claw marks on the very wood. And the person, the corpse that was there, their mouth was completely opened, where it was as if they realized that they had been buried alive, and they screamed, trying for somebody to bury them or dig them up, only to fail. And back then, also, there weren't really even any grave markers. For example, this wall, it has not been around for that long. Which, by the way, look, there's a little snail. So right now, quite honestly, we are standing on those graves. That is why I say this is perhaps one of the most haunted cemeteries in the entire city of St. Augustine. If you have kept up with my channel for as long as you have, I've been doing it for about 3 years at this point, then you all will have known that I used to give ghost tours for Ghost Augustine. And I want to tell you all about some of the things that we saw while giving tours out at this very cemetery. The first night, it was a group of people. It was one of my most favorite tours. A lady from the group took out her phone and flashed it right over there. It was in this exact spot that this lady took a picture. And what she captured freaked her out for the rest of the tour. She had captured a full body apparition right where we're standing, and I saw it, I confirmed it. It was one of the scariest things I had ever seen. Which leads me to show you all a photo that was taken not long ago by someone from the HSA, Ghost Augustine. And I will say, this photo is not for the faint of heart. What I'm about to show you is real. It has not been altered. It is a true blue photograph. What they believe it to be is the judge. Now, with the judge, there is a story with that. You see, the judge was buried in this exact cemetery. However, his family wanted his body dug up and buried somewhere else. Now, the gravedigger who did this, he dug him up. He went to take himself a break. But when he came back, he realized that 2 vandals had taken the head of the judge. Mostly because the judge had gold teeth. But that's what they believe. This photo, if you pay attention to it, you can see that he's wearing dress pants. Back in the day, women did not wear dress pants like that. Anyway, if y'all are in the St. Augustine area, I really suggest using Ghost Augustine. They're a really good group and probably one of the best in the city. Anyway, guys, I figured this is a great start to haunt season, starting where my channel originated, in Florida. I'm very excited. This should be good, and I'm really looking forward to it. So without further ado, you guys, remember, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Always means a lot. Goes to show that y'all care and that you all want to see more awesome content. So without further ado, you guys, vlog over.